Hi everyone, welcome to today's video where we are talking about all of the most common 2-week wait symptoms. You guys really seem to like my personal 2-week wait symptom video that I did, and I'll link that below so you guys can check it out if you haven't seen it. So I thought what I would do is collate all of the most common symptoms that I've seen from around the web. I don't know about you guys, but I have binge watched 2-week wait symptom videos and just took notes on all of the most common ones. I also did a little bit of reading online to see where the most common ones occur, like what DPO, what day past ovulation. For those of you who don't know me, which is most of you because I'm new around here, hi, I'm Connelly, mother to 1, soon to be 2. We're expecting another little girl, so we'll have 2 little girls about 19-20 months apart. Here on this channel we talk about all things parenthood, pregnancy, especially right now when I'm pregnant, and lifestyle in general. So if you like that sort of thing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because it really helps my channel out. So yes, a huge thank you to those of you who do like, subscribe, and engage in general. FYI, I'm not a doctor, I am not a nurse. This is not meant to be medical advice or anything, so of course call your doctor if you have any issues, questions, ideas, concerns, that sort of thing. But a little tiny overview is that the 2-week wait is the time between you ovulate and then your next period, or the time you ovulate to where you can actually test and get a positive pregnancy test. I mentioned ovulation. So what ovulation is when the ovary releases the egg, and so that's when the egg is ready to be fertilized. That's not your fertile window, that's just like as soon as the egg can be fertilized by sperm. So I have a whole video coming out as well on how to get pregnant quickly and kind of the steps involved. So for more information on that, subscribe so that you don't miss that video coming soon. And once it's up, I'll try to remember to link it below too. So the high level overview is once you ovulate, typically somewhere right in the middle of your cycle. Then after that is the earliest you can start seeing pregnancy symptoms. So when we talk about 1 DPO, DPO is days past ovulation. So 0 and 1 DPO are like the earliest you will see pregnancy symptoms potentially. Now, by the way, some women don't see any pregnancy symptoms that early on. Some people claim to, some people have a lot of similar symptoms to pregnancy as like PMS, so they would experience these symptoms anyway. So just something to note is that the earlier the DPO, the earlier the day past ovulation, the less reliable the symptom is as a potential symptom of pregnancy. So you really won't know if you're pregnant unless you take a pregnancy test, or until you take a pregnancy test. So just keep that in mind. However, so many women, including myself, claim to have early pregnancy symptoms. For example, I had pregnancy symptoms the day of ovulation. So then I'm going to break it down by DPO so that you know kind of what's the less reliable versus more reliable symptoms. Now let's jump right into those symptoms from 0 days past ovulation to 6 days past ovulation. So the number one symptom I've heard and did not experience myself is a change in CM. So what CM stands for is cervical mucus, or basically like discharge. And so I hate both of those terms, so I'm going to call it cervical fluid just because that's my own personal preference and I can do what I want on my channel. So from here on out, we're calling it cervical fluid here. But when you hear CM in the future, in other videos potentially, that's what's being talked about. So a change in CF, or cervical fluid, means that once you are actually pregnant, things will start changing often down there and you'll start discharging a lot more. So typically once you're done ovulating, you won't see any more of that kind of fertile, raw egg white type of cervical mucus or cervical fluid. Gosh, I just hate that term. Why do they have to call it that? Anyway, it's probably more accurate, but I don't even care. Yeah, you won't see that fertile type of cervical fluid. You will just kind of dry up for the rest of the cycle. Whereas if you are pregnant, you will start to see potentially more of this creamy or raw egg white type of discharge. The next super early pregnancy symptom that you could see are changes in breasts. So breast size, breast tenderness, tingling, that sort of thing. That was actually one of my first early tips, was that one. That one I saw like the day of ovulation when I got pregnant. So yeah, something to keep an eye out there. It's just your hormones start prepping right away for breast milk and breastfeeding and nursing. And so isn't that crazy that 1, you start that early, and 2, it takes that long to prep and be ready, 9-10 months, however long you're pregnant. It's It's crazy. The next earliest pregnancy sign you might experience is headaches. So unfortunately, that's just another piece that goes along with the hormones, as well as when you're pregnant, you start pumping more blood and your veins also restrict apparently. So your body has to work harder and you just need more fluid intake. So if you're not getting that, you're gonna feel, some side effects like dizziness, headaches, that sort of thing. The next symptom is bloating. So not exactly the most glamorous symptom in the whole world, but it happens. And again, this is just your body preparing. And if it's a second pregnancy or like a subsequent, just not your first, you'll probably experience this a lot sooner than with your first pregnancy, because your body just knows what to do and is going to do it a lot faster. The fifth sign of early pregnancy is changes in your teeth. And this one I didn't see on that many people's videos, but on my 2-week wait symptom video, I included that symptom, and so many people commented, oh my gosh, I experienced that tooth thing too. Like, I didn't know that was potentially due to the pregnancy. So yeah, I'm including that here because just that was the number one thing people talked about in their comments on that video. So basically the changes in teeth are due to a number of things, but one is that you are producing more progesterone, and what progesterone does is relax things. So it like relaxes tendons and nerves and things. So like what happened to me is I felt my teeth, like it felt like they were like tissue almost. It was crazy. And then they actually started moving. Like at one point I had a little tiny gap between my 2 front teeth, which is so bizarre. But yeah, it's just crazy how much your body can change. And by the way, if you look up any symptom and ask Google, is this a pregnancy symptom? It's almost always going to come back and say yes. So basically anything is a pregnancy symptom, but this just happens to be one of the earliest ones. Next is a cramp, or also described as like a twinge, like a pain in your stomach. And a lot of women think that might be implantation pain. So when the egg implants into the uterus, it kind of grabs on, and this can cause a little bit of a cramp or a pain. The next early pregnancy symptom is thirst, just super, super thirsty. And this again has to do with that extra blood pumping and vein constriction and things like that. So you're gonna need to drink a lot more water. This is one of my first tips, one of my first clues that I was pregnant, because I just could not get hydrated, which was such an issue I had in my first pregnancy, and it's turning out to be that way again. So yes, extra thirst, like cotton mouth, dry, just super, super, super thirsty. Now the opposite of this, of being thirsty, is the next symptom, which is excess saliva. So many people talk about having this, and not something I ever experienced, but yeah, a lot of people reported that. And the last symptom of early pregnancy, days 0 to 6 past ovulation, is breathlessness. So this again goes along with just pumping more blood, your body having to work harder to kind of move around. So yes, you might feel breathless, out of breath, a little bit like, oh my gosh, those stairs normally don't make me out of breath, but today they did for some reason. Might be a clue that you are expecting. Okay, now we are getting into days past ovulation, 7 to 12-ish. So these ones are going to be more reliable in terms of being early pregnancy symptoms, just because your body has had more time for that fertilized egg to implant and then start having that HCG hormone kind of release and cause more pregnancy symptoms. Any of those symptoms that I mentioned previously for days 0 to 6, you could also experience 7 to 12. These are just the ones that were more commonly shared for these later days. The first symptom you might experience is fatigue, overall tiredness, just like needing more time to rest and relax. And even though it's so early and the baby is like seriously like this big, you can't even see it. I mean, smaller than like the tip of this, or like smaller than a poppy seed. It causes so many changes in your body due to those hormones, relaxin and progesterone, that start getting released in higher amounts. So you might start experiencing fatigue. You just feel like, oh, now that I sat down, I don't want to get up, or I'm so tired, I'm going to bed earlier. The next symptom is cramping. So you might feel cramping and other signs in your uterus or lower abdomen area, just kind of pulling, cramping, stretching, because things start to grow right away. I mean, your body just starts prepping, especially on subsequent pregnancies. You might also experience spotting or light bleeding, and some people have so much of it that they mistake it for a period, and so they don't even end up knowing that they're pregnant until later because they don't realize that they actually missed a period and what they experienced was just spotting. So depending on how heavy your periods are, you might not even notice that you're not pregnant. And so the spotting is due to implantation. So when the tiny little fertilized egg implants into the side of the uterus, then it basically can cause a little bit of bleeding from where it's implanting. Another of the earliest pregnancy symptoms are frequency and urgency to go to the bathroom, and later in pregnancy this is due to pressure being put on your bladder, but early on in pregnancy it's due to, you guessed it, more hormones. So yeah, something you might have to deal with. I experienced this one super early on too, like 1 DPO. Something that's kind of frustrating, kind of annoying, but you might want to pay attention and see if, okay, this is my 10th trip to the bathroom today. Normally I'm more of like a 3 trip during the workday person. What's going on here? Speaking of going to the bathroom, another TMI symptom that a lot of women reported was actually having diarrhea. So something you might want to look out for too in those early days. And that would probably come with no other symptoms of like a cold or flu, you know, just the diarrhea. One of the most common pregnancy symptoms that people described was having crazy vivid dreams. And I mean, such a high percentage of people reported this, and it's just crazy because of course it's probably caused by the hormones again, but so many people talked about not just only having crazy dreams and remembering them so well, but also a lot of people reported them being about pregnancy. Yeah, that would definitely be a tip, to get a test ready, a pregnancy test ready, if you have a dream about being pregnant, or if you just have a super crazy vivid dream in general. Another pregnancy symptom are even more changes to breasts. So not just talking about size or like feelings or tingling, but now we're talking about like color, shape, like that sort of thing, especially in the nipple area, like super tenderness, again due to hormones and due to preparing to nurse a little newborn baby 9 months down the road. Another super early pregnancy symptom is a change in your sense of smell, and so your sense of smell can potentially get super heightened. You might be able to smell things one day that you've never smelled before in your entire life. Like that happened to me. And I talk about this in my 2-week wait video that I've linked below. But basically I had been using this scentless laundry detergent for like years, at least a couple years. Never smelled it once. And then one of my early DPO days, all of a sudden I was doing laundry and I was like, what is that smell? Is that this from the laundry? I was just shocked because I'd never smelled it before. And then that's when I think I knew. So many symptoms added up. I was like, I'm pregnant. I am pregnant. This is thought to potentially be a mechanism to help protect the mother and the baby. So mom could maybe eat that expired cheese and be fine, but that expired cheese might affect the baby, that like really harm the baby, poison, you know, do something to the baby that it wouldn't do to the mom. So it's thought to potentially be a mechanism of survival and protection. And of course, caused by hormones, like almost everything on this list. So many women described having hormonal sensitivities. So what I mean by that is feeling really sensitive to whatever it is, whether that's crying more, getting upset more, being angry, that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for if you're feeling irrationally mad at something, or if you start crying at a commercial that you normally never cry at, you know, like that sort of thing might tip you off. The next early pregnancy symptom is hot flashes or excess sweating, again caused by hormones. Not really sure the mechanism there, but something that a lot of women reported. The next pregnancy symptom is lightheadedness and dizziness. So again, due to more blood being pumped through your body and just needing to drink more water to support everything else going on. So you also have dips in blood sugar and things like that. So if you're not getting the nutrients, the sugar, or the fluid intake that you might need above and beyond, then you might experience dizziness, lightheadedness, anything else related to that. Along those lines, the next pregnancy symptom is brain fog. This one is highly reported by women, but I would say not so commonly talked about with doctors. Not really sure why not, but I think pregnancy brain is such a real thing. I've had so many embarrassing experiences with pregnancy brain. It's not even funny. For example, going through the Starbucks drive-thru and forgetting to order my drink. And then I got to the window and I was like, I don't know what happened. I just like forgot to order it. So embarrassing. So here it goes again. I lost my train of thought. Pregnancy brain. But yeah, that is another highly reported brain fog, not feeling like yourself, forgetting things that you normally don't forget, feeling a little out of it, just foggy in general. So there you have it. Those are the earliest pregnancy symptoms by DPO that you could be experiencing during the 2-week wait. This is such an exciting time in so many women's lives, so I wish everyone the best of luck in your pregnancy journey. If you learned anything, please hit that like button. Please stick around, subscribe, make sure to keep an eye out for my video on how to get pregnant fast, and we'll see you guys around. Thanks for watching. Bye!